Hello everyone, Sai here with my Shield Crush League Starter. Last league, one of my friends, he League started with this build and he thought about the Bringer of Rain helmet, which got buffed 1 or 2 leagues ago. And the crux of this build is that you don't need a body armor and you have just this unique, which should be very cheap, and then the Lion Eyes Remorse Shield, which is very cheap, the Prismatic Eclipse sword, which is also very cheap. So this is a very cheap League starter, which is able to kill the first 2 stones, and then with a few upgrades you will also be able to get the last 2 stones. I will start this build guide with a map demo, so you can see what the build looks like and how it feels. This has 2 damage modifiers. I hope I won't die. This character is still in hardcore, so as you can see the build is also quite tanky. And let's see how this goes. At the beginning of the map you will press your Corrupting Fever to proc your adrenaline buff here. And then you just... Oh, I even have the increased modifier. Shit. Oh, that's okay. As you can see, this is a lot of damage, but we can handle. Once the buff is gone, you press the adrenaline buff again. Holy, this is with the extra map modifiers. Effect of map modifiers is quite dangerous, but yeah, even with this League starter version, as you can see, you're fine. Use the boss. I can't. So normally you press vulnerability, and you can go to blood stance for a single target. And yeah, as you can see, this is fine.
Approach, challenger.
Yeah, let's finish the rest of the map. Also, as you can see, the damage is also quite okay for a League starter. It's around 1.5 million DPS, I think. Oh, I forgot to press Blood Rush for the majority of the... So you also you press Corrupting Fever and Blood Rush at the beginning of the map. And then you should start. This of course would be a lot more damage. Yeah. Well, I think this is a good demonstration. And now let's talk about the build a little bit more, about some upgrades you could make. Oops, let me get rid of this stuff. The Remorse shield is good because it has a lot of life and decent armor, but you want to craft rare shield as early as possible, preferable with dense fossils, just single socket resonators with dense fossils, until you have good prefixes. Here you can see I actually have increased chance to block. Better would be another hybrid armor and life roll. But I just want to demonstrate like how much of an upgrade this shield would be. 77,000 and now it's 104. So this is like 30% more damage, which is a sizable upgrade. Another good upgrade for this build is since we are Impale based, the Watcher's Eye modifier is with Pride, but the best modifier actually is the increased physical damage mod on the Watcher's Eye. Ideally you want like a 2-mod Watcher's Eye like this, but 2 additional Impales is already good enough and should be quite cheap. Then the Light of Meaning is also a really good upgrade. You would place it here. The increased physical damage, as you can see, is also around 20% more damage. Early on, if this is too expensive, you could also think about increased evasion or armor. Right now my armor is at 20k, and with this it goes up to 24. With increased armor, I think it would go up even more. We are iron reflexes because I want to be stun immune with unwavering stance. If you can solve the stun with other means, then of course you don't need to be iron reflexes, and you could even go with Perseverance Vanguard belt. Other good upgrades, as I said, the shield is quite easy to craft. I think I didn't say how to finish the shield, so you focus on the prefixes first, and then you do prefixes cannot be changed and harvest a reforge. Either if you want physical damage reduction, you will reforge with physical, or if you want reduced crit damage, you would reforge with crit. That's how you finish the shield. And also, ideally, you actually want to recover 3% of life when you block and do the steps that I just said, and then you would finish with Shaper Exalt. I tried to craft with Warlord bases, but Shaper bases are actually way easier to craft. On the rest of the items, you want accuracy rating. As you can see, I have tier 1 accuracy rating on many items, but the other, so it's like a 2 or 3 FX item. I think that's achievable. If you can fit it in, but then chaos resistance will be more difficult and resistances will be more difficult, you can also use this ring. Since you are using a pure armor shield at the start, this would also increase your armor by like 30% or something like that. So this is also quite good. What else? Yeah, you start with an amulet like this, then you upgrade to an amulet with accuracy rating, and once you have accuracy rating amulet with resistances and life, then you can anoint Acuity, which is a very cheap anoint. Only black, violet, and clear. You are a precise technique character, so that's the most annoying part about the build actually. You always have to check your accuracy rating here of Shield Crush in comparison to your max life. You need this number to be higher than this, so that you get the 40% more attack damage. There is a bloodline. And talking about bloodlines, the last, right now I'm spec'd into Unstoppable Hero. You could also go Inspirational. This is a little bit more damage. This is a little bit tankier. I think I would go Inspirational if I would do the build again. In the POB it's set on Inspirational. But the last node in general is not that high, so they just posted the bloodlines. If the Spectres can survive without any gem support, then this could be a really good bloodline, because you either can get a lot of accuracy rating and no extra damage from critical hits that you receive. This is very good. Or you could go, if accuracy rating is not a problem, you could go cannot be stunned and 100% increased damage and regenerate 3% life per second. So this would also be really good. Or if you go Heist, this build is a really good Heister. You could even think about Wild Will with another 20% movement speed. Okay, let's go back into the game. The reason why this character is a good Heister is you are ailment immune due to Purity of Elements. Instead of Pride, you could go Haste as an aura. And you have permanent onslaught if you go Heist, either with Perseverance or with this wheel, Dance of Blades. You can just click this every 4 seconds and then you have onslaught. You have the increased onslaught effect, gives you a ton of movement speed, and then you have the perma adrenaline buff, which also gives you 25 movement speed. That's why I think this character is really good for Heist. You would then add Face Run as a skill, which grants you a lot of movement speed, and there you go. When it comes to the uniques, there are also 2 Divination cards that are good. The Gladiator can get you the Bringer of Rain, but there's another unique helmet that you can also get. Another quite common divination card is the Lion that gives a Lion Eye item. This is one of the items, but again, there are a lot of different outcomes, so I don't know if I would recommend doing this. But especially for SSF players, this is the most common outcome, the boots, and the shield is one of the rarer outcomes. So yeah, I don't know how many sets you would need to trade in on average to get this shield. On hardcore, the shield can get a little bit pricey. If it is pricey or you can't get it, then just run with this kind of shield. I tested this. This is good until yellow maps for sure. Especially if you have the Bringer of Rain helmet, then your damage should be really good. So yeah, just use a rare shield until you can afford the Lion Eyes Remorse, or even just skip the Lion Eyes Remorse and go for a rare shield with dense fossils. Or you can maybe rock craft a shield or essence craft a shield. The best base is a hybrid cardinal round shield base with item level at least 86 to get the increased armor and evasion tiers to tier 1. Oh, another big upgrade for the build is either a Replica Dragonfangs Flight with +3 to Shield Crush gems, or an Admiral Arrogance Gauntlet with +3 to melee skills. And you want to use these items if you have a 21 Shield Crush gem, preferably with also 20 quality, because the quality is actually really nice, gives you 10% more damage. The difference between level 20 or 21 gem and a level 24 gem is around 30% more damage. So even without the quality, you would increase your damage by around 20%. I think I would prefer the amulet because it also gives you reservation efficiency and some leeway with attributes. You need one int roll on your items. Even if you have int amulet, you still need one minor int roll on your items to save 1 point. Otherwise you would need to spec into hard knocks. Early on, if you don't have all the accuracy rating on your gear, you can still be spec'd into Weathered Hunter with the 500 accuracy rating mastery. And the better your gear gets, you will not need precision or this wheel. For Flesh and Stone to work, you will need the Runegraft of Treachery. Runegrafts you can get from shipments in the King's March, or just buy them from trade. They are normally very cheap. Now let's go to the POB. I want to focus on the pure League Start version of this build because it's so cheap. You don't I think it's so insane that you don't even need a 6-link, which of course in the first days is quite expensive. Since you go plus all elemental resistances, maximum elemental resistances, Searing Exarch is actually doable with this build quite easily, I would say. If you have a little bit of practice of the boss fight, you get to around 88 or 90 max res. If you change these settings with the Val Molten Shell combo, you are quite tanky. This is without the Molten Shell. So with Molten Shell active, you have a max hit of 55k fire max hit, which is really nice. This build is susceptible to damage over time effects, so I choose to go Soul of Arakali. Also, like in the Fortify Mastery, the reduced damage over time, damage taken is very, very important. Yeah, as you can see, I have a very detailed leveling section, and also the skills section. You can see what acts you're supposed to have, what gems, and the links. And I even have a item section for Act 1. Oh, this is maybe good to say. The sword you start with before you even kill Hillock is actually already good enough. You just care about the global accuracy rating, and local accuracy rating on weapons doesn't count, so this is perfect for the precise technique, and otherwise the weapon doesn't have anything that you want. You want always go for evasion or armor shields. I would go for armor, And then in the first act you want movement speed on boots. For Mavail, the last boss of the act, you want a Sapphire Ring. As an amulet you want intelligence. And I would go for the Ristic Sash to increase your damage, because in the first act the damage is quite low. In the second act that is way better, because you get a lot of buffs. You get Blood Rush and Frenzy Charges, you get Flesh and Stone and can change to Blood Stance for an additional damage. And then once you have your first lap, you are zooming. Like the damage, like it almost doubles your damage when you get the first lap. In order to proc the adrenaline, you need Corrupting Fever. You can get that in the second act and start leveling on the offhand. So when you press it, you need to go on low life. So that's half your life, total life. So either you add support gems to Corrupting Fever, that's the way to go. And if that doesn't help, you can also play around. There is a life mastery. You count as low life while at 55% of your maximum life. So if the adrenaline cost is not high enough, you can try this. I also have really detailed trees. First, you want to go for these nodes and then rush Precise Technique because it's so much damage. And then after that, yeah, you go like this. And then in Act 4, you will go Impale. First with the Impaler, and then once you have enough points with this wheel, you will not go for Impaler, because then you have 100% chance to impale. First I would go for the Adrenaline node. It's so good, trust me. And then second Master of Steel, and third lap the Fortitude. And then the fourth lap, as I mentioned earlier, I would probably go Inspirational, but you could also go in Unstoppable. It's not that much of a difference, honestly. But since there are the bloodlines, I showed you the Feral bloodline. There's another bloodline which is also interesting. Auls Bloodline. You have to delve. It's not easy. I think this bloodline will be, if it is meta, this will be the most expensive one to get. Because the king is actually pretty rare. There is the Precursors release node. And it says elemental ailments cannot be inflicted on you if you have no equipped body armor. If you have an equipped body armor with no socketed gems. So this could work, because in the POB, the mastery, the life mastery says 15% increased maximum life if there are no life modifiers on a equipped body armor. So the wording is kind of the same, and this life mastery works. And we don't have a body armor, so I think the Auls bloodline should also work. So you could fix your elemental ailments with this bloodline, and then you could... The reason why we use Purity of Elements is, one, we get a lot of resistances from it, but the more important part is the elemental ailments immunity. And with this bloodline you could switch out of Purity of Elements and instead use, for example, Determination to be more tanky against physical hits. As you could see in map demonstration, with a ton of damage mods on the map, but that was even with increased map modifiers, so those won't exist next league. And as we even survived, so I think the build is tanky enough as is, but you could swap out of Purity of Elements, get Determination, or later if you use body armor, you could also use this Ascendancy to either get crit immune or get action speeds cannot be below base value, which is of course a very, very, very good Ascendancy node. You don't need to go Iron Reflexes and change your build by quite a lot. So I think this is also a very interesting bloodline that you could play around. I think the Feral's bloodline with the Spectres, if they survive, I don't know if they will be tanky enough. We will have to wait and see. This would be really good. First, the accuracy rating is, I think, especially good because it's very annoying to balance your accuracy rating, and that makes it way easier. The increased critical strike chance is not usable for us, sadly, but we would be crit immune, which is very nice, because we don't have to invest in this. Then, otherwise, the Fertile Will, I think, is, if you don't have accuracy rating problems, this will be the best one, I think, because 100% increased damage will be around 20% more damage. Then you are stun immune, so you solve your stun, all the upsides with it. Yeah, that's it, guys. I hope you will have fun with this build. I did a test run, a 2-stone run, without any problem. I think you can rush through the maps once you have the helmet, and will have a very cheap fun build to start the league. Oh, maybe one last point. So the single target of this build is on the lower side, but the clear is not too bad. I mean, you saw the map demonstration, so I think it will be viable for Breach. So if you want to dive into Breach right away, I think this build is totally capable of that. As the graft, I don't know how strong they will be, but if there was one which has like a big AoE damage skill, I think, and maybe that would be a really good choice. The defense one, I don't know if it has the same cooldown with Molten Shell, but that would of course be, if it doesn't share the same cooldown, that would be really good defensive-wise, especially for Searing Exarch. So that would be the grafts I would go for. I will also upload another League Start build, which will be the build I will League Start with. It's Cold Snap of Power with Staffs Elementalist. So if you want to check out that build, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, so you get more. You will know when I upload the other videos. I will also make currency farming strat videos for the beginning of the league, and I will update the Cold Snap of Power character during the whole league. So yeah. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this helped you, and see you in the next one.